Crazy, fluid, colorful, love it. It's still one of the best animated looking movies out there, and yeah, I trust Sony. Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. I guess this could technically count as a D. Howdy.
Alright, howdy Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. As you can most likely tell, this is probably my first time, this is very much my first time streaming, so I'm giving it a shot, seeing how well I can do at it. If this is entertaining to you guys, I will definitely do more in the future. So we're going to be tackling two topics today. One is we're going to be looking at all the movies I anticipated for 2022. So this is a video I made at the end of 2021, talking about movies I wanted to see in 2022. And I will be talking about whether or not they panned out the way I think they did or not. And then the next one will be me reviewing it like in 2021, I think. Had a hell of a fun time doing so I figured I'd do it again, except this time in live stream form. Again, probably not going to turn out the best. Like, I do not blame you for being disgusted at what you're seeing here, but again, I am a noob, so I will take any criticism you will give me just like that. But I am also streaming this from a different account of mine, just making sure everything flows well and we do not have any issues up in here. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. I guess this could technically count as a perfect time of the year, considering we're still in January, and I missed my December deadline, but no matter. But anyways, today we are doing my most top 10 anticipated movies of 2022. 2022 is a bit of a strange year. A lot of things have been announced, a lot of things have been promoted. However, almost nothing seems concrete. Whereas in 2021, we were expecting like a bunch of things.
Right, so let's get started with number 10.
That were like either announced or they have trailers for, but we haven't really gotten anything concrete on them. The first thing I'd like to mention is there's a Rise of the TMNT movie. So I've only seen the first season of the show, and so I was really surprised when I found out that that this series is gonna get a movie. So it's gonna be on Netflix sometime later this year. No trailer about it, just an announcement. So I figured it would be interesting to know. Another movie I'd like to mention would be the Puss in Boots 2 movie. So I don't know if this is an actual sequel to Puss in Boots or if it's like a Netflix sort of movie, because there is a Netflix Puss in Boots movie and TV show, and I did watch the Netflix show. So I'm wondering, will this movie be a continuation of the show, or will it be a continuation of the OG movie from 2011? Also, if it is a continuation of the OG movie, DreamWorks really did wait a long time to make a sequel of this movie. It's been 11 years since it came out. That's madness right there. What were they doing? Like, were they really just waiting for it to become nostalgic or to make?
Alright, so I guess we've got to mention those two. I don't think the trailers for these movies had come out by the time I talked about them. So I think that's why I didn't show any footage for them in the video. However, who would have thought that Rise of the TMNT and Puss in Boots would be my absolute favorite movies of 2022? Movies that, let me be honest, at the time I wasn't really looking forward to. Like Puss in Boots 2, it was fine because I enjoyed the first Puss in Boots movie. I think I'm the only guy who actually enjoyed Puss in Boots 1. So I was mildly interested in what Puss in Boots 2 was going to be about, especially considering that it was originally supposed to come out in 2018, but they kept pushing it. So I was like, let's just see how this madness might turn out. And then there was Rise of the TMNT movie. This one I was also not looking forward to it, seeing as I'd only watched like the first season of TMNT. I didn't see the second season. So imagine my surprise when the movie came out and just blew me away. So hey, you live and you learn.
A perfect script on it. No, the first Puss in Boots movie was pretty charming to me. It wasn't the best movie out there. I still would rather watch him in Shrek. But maybe the potential for a sequel would be really good. I'd like to see what would happen if they do continue the story. Again, kind of an announcement / rumor, nothing official yet.
And they were official, weirdly enough. They were the only things to come out.
There's not even a poster or a trailer for it. Obviously, next we have Battle of the Super Sons, which apparently is DC's first CG superhero movie. I know CG.
I did not see Battle of the Super Sons. Do not even bother asking me.
Full human superhero movie. This is the one that in it and everyone's just freaking out and thinking it's going to be worst thing ever. I haven't seen this much. Everyone's just proud to play it, and all of you have come to look at. Yeah, so I've heard of the Super Mario movie, and I've heard about Chris. Then it got pushed to 2021, then summer 21, and then they just decided to move it to 22. So yeah, 2 years in pushing. Can this movie be good? I don't know. It's Minions. But the thing about Minions is that it's Illumination's cash cow, which is why they've been struggling so hard to put it in theaters. They know if they put it in streaming, they won't get as much money as if they did in theaters. So that's why they are struggling so hard to put this movie into theaters, just so they can get that extra buck in their pocket. I mean, no disrespect on the hassle, it's like whatever, but seriously, like, who cares about Minions at this point? I am so tired from these.
Weirdly enough, people still do care about Minions, it seems.
I say special. Get the hell out of here.
What's happening?
So yeah, some of these franchises.
Yeah, no, weirdly enough, people still care about Minions. I'm pretty sure this movie gained about $1 billion at the box office. Like, guys, it's Minions. As I said, this movie really isn't much. It's just more like, it's cake, really. It's just cake. It's not a meal. Like, you can't call this, like, a good, movie. It's just a time killer, let's be honest here.
This is really do need to die. And the Despicable Me franchise, it really needs to bang on doors death at this point. Next up, at number 8, we have Hotel Transylvania 4. So interesting thing, as we're recording, this movie is out, and I want to go watch it and review it. In fact, if anything, before it went, number 8, it really needs to bang on doors there at this point. Next up, at number 8, we have Hotel.
And what's worse is that they're gonna make a Despicable Me 4. Oh, good lordy.
Transylvania 4. So interesting thing, as we're recording, this movie is out, and I want to go watch it and review it. In fact, if anything, before Wednesday, maybe, my next video will be the Hotel Transylvania 4 review. So I won't say much about it because the movie is out. I just wanted to let you all know that.
Okay, I did review this movie originally, and I did post it, but YouTube took it down almost immediately as well. I don't even get like why they blocked my video. I only used trailer footage, and they took down everything I had to say about the movie. So I really just shoved this movie into like the top 12 best animated movies of the year, where I gave my quick thoughts on it. But yeah, I did review this movie. It's easily the worst of the Transylvania movies.
Next, we have an upcoming DreamWorks film, The Bad Guys. And let me just say, already, this movie looks gorgeous. I love the shading, the stylization of it, where it's, again, not fully 3D, not fully 2D. It's got that smooth animation. And the fact that this is a DreamWorks movie really does speak volumes. It looks like they're actually trying to do something different and be a bit more experimental with their movies, which, good on you guys. It's about time we stopped having boss babies. Yeah, I get it. You need those movies to pay the bills and make stuff like this. But this is good. I do like the fact that they're becoming more experimental and less boss baby. So yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. It does seem like it's going to be a fun, charming movie that's, it's a crook movie with animals. It's like Zootopia, but crooks, really. So, hey, excited to see where this goes. And it's apparently it's animals robbing humans. So, interesting take. I do want to see what this movie would do with a concept like that. So yeah, excited for this movie.
The movie didn't do much with that concept. Let's just be honest here. It did not do a lot with the concept of humans versus animals, mostly because the talking animals are just kind of accepted in this world, so that's really something sure to focus on. But I was right to say that this movie was very charming, very gorgeous looking, and very fun. I definitely do think this was one of the best animated movies of 2022. For some reason, it didn't come out in my ranking video at the end of the year, so just know it's number 4. It's the 4th best animated movie of the year, so there you go.
Let's move on. At number 6, we have Pixar's first movie of the year, Turning Red. This movie is coming out in March, if I'm not wrong, and it's set in like the early 2000s, and it's about this Canadian Chinese girl, I think. She's a Canadian Asian girl who gets these powers to turn into a giant red panda, and apparently she turns into a red panda when her emotions get like too excited. So if she's too nervous or too happy or too sad or something like that, she turns into the panda. So she has to like learn to normalize her emotions, or like keep them on flow. I will say, just based off this movie already, it does look like such an American movie. How should I say? It looks like such a white American movie. I don't know
what the heck I was smoking, but yeah, Turning Red turned out well. It's not for me particularly. Like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I related to this movie or like I got the entire gist of the thing. All I know is that it was a good movie. It tackled a really good topic, and yeah, I'd definitely be down to see Hollywood tackle more movies like this with creativity,
Trying to experiment, and I'm really interested to see
with
what they're gonna
with its sharp creativity like that.
movie. Now from DC's corner, we have Black Adam. Yes, people were looking forward to this movie ever since Shazam came out, and it was like, oh, what's Black Adam? Is he gonna be in Shazam 2? Well, good news and bad news, he's not gonna be in Shazam 2. Good news is he's gonna have his own movie. So I am really interested to see what they're gonna do with it. I did see another trailer where it's sort of like we get to see his past when he first got his powers and when he fought the first Shazam, and then we get to see him like I think in present day. So I'm interested to see what this movie will do. Maybe we'll get to like sort of have a past and future, like a before and after movie, where like the half of the movie will focus on him and how he got his powers, and then we'll focus on him in present day. I don't know what the movie is gonna be about. All I know is that we're gonna have to see him get his powers and how he's dealing with fighting the first Shazam and how he deals in the modern world. That's all I got.
Well, the movie wasn't like that, sadly. Really, the movie was just, again, basically just a cartoon superhero movie in live action. We did get him like fighting the old Shazams, but like it was in a flashback. We didn't even get to see him release the seven deadly sins, despite Shazam, the first Shazam movie, explicitly saying that Black Adam released the seven deadly sins. You'd have thought this movie would touch on that, but no, they don't. Instead, we're now fighting some other demon guy instead. It was weird. The movie was definitely very weird and not what we would have expected from DC. This is not like their best quality, but I would be very remiss if I didn't say the movie was fun. The movie is very much a fun ride, but it has no substance to it. And like I would still watch Shazam over this any day.
Another thing as well is I do think he might be in Shazam 3. I know for a fact he's not going to be in Shazam 2 because Shazam 2 has like a completely different story. But if he's in Shazam 3, hey, count me in.
Well, Shazam 3, those plans are dead, deader than dead. But if they are going to make another Shazam movie in the future, like in this new universe they're doing, it would be cool to see him and Black Adam fight, even though they're not going to be played by the same actors. Like, it's not going to be Zachary Levi versus The Rock. But even then, like, even back when it was before Black Adam came out, I was even wondering how the hell do they expect me to buy that Zachary Levi can beat The Rock of all people? Like, there's just some things that where you have to like hold your suspension of disbelief.
Speaking of Shazam, Shazam 2 is also coming out next year. Yeah, this and Black Adam in the same year. What kind of world are we living in?
I can't even talk about this movie. It got postponed to this year. So, I guess I'll review it when it comes out, assuming I can go watch it in time. But yeah, I can't even talk about Shazam 2. So we'll just move right on past that. I like the monster designs, though. I really hope we get to see more than just the dragon in Shazam 2, basically. Let's see. Here we go. There we go.
Definitely going to be one of the bigger movies of 2022. Next up, we have Lightyear. Sorry about the bottom screen. I have no idea what's going on there. Apparently, my editing is glitching. So, next we have Lightyear. This is Pixar's second movie of the year. It's going to come out in June. And I am way more excited for this film than Turning Red. No shade on Turning Red, though, again, it's still Pixar, so they could surprise me.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was way too excited for Lightyear. I really wanted this one to be the true winner of 2022, I mean. And man, the movie just wasn't what I expected. And that's the thing. I really hate when people get mad at a movie because it doesn't follow, what headcanon they had in their mind. Because the movie shouldn't bow to your whim. But based off everything we knew about Lightyear going in, it was promising to be something it wasn't, and it was kind of a letdown for a lot of people. I still think it's a good movie. I can't really say Lightyear is an objectively bad movie. Hell, I'm the only person in the world who doesn't even mind the twist villain. It's just, it could have been so much more. I'm honestly kind of hoping I know Lightyear bombed at the box office, but I'm hoping Disney really ignores those low numbers and makes a Lightyear sequel. And the sequel is the movie that everyone envisioned the original Lightyear was gonna be. At the very least, it'll be a sort of redemption arc for them. If we make money, who knows?
But I am very excited for this movie. This movie is apparently a sort of Toy Story prequel where it focuses on the character Buzz Lightyear is based off of. Like the Buzz Lightyear toy, the one we follow in Toy Story, this movie is about the character the toy is based off of. And I really find it to be interesting. So yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. It seems like we're going to have Lightyear traveling through Lightyear, going to different planets. We're going to meet Zurg. I know he's going to be in the movie. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do here. I'm still kind of 50-50 on the character design, especially with Buzz's character design. Like, he doesn't look bad.
Yeah, like Buzz's character design took a while to grow on me. I get they wanted it to make to make him look like the toy, but like that weird square oval face wasn't sitting well with me. But yeah, I've grown used to it. It's grown on me, but it took a while for me to get used to it.
At number 2, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This to me is not only.
By the way, I made this list before movies like Love and were confirmed, or at least like we did have trailers for them. Essential that were going to come out in 2022. That's why I didn't add them to the list. Whereas with like Shazam and Black Adam, we already had trailers for them. So I didn't bother adding Wakanda Forever and Love and Thunder to my list, just simply for the fact I didn't even know if they were going to come out in that year. Whereas everything else either had a trailer or it had a poster ready for it.
Only gonna be the biggest movie or the biggest superhero movie of 2022, but it's definitely also gonna be probably one of the best superhero movies if it goes the way I think it's going. In terms of like superhero stuff, I am most excited for this and Shazam 2. So yeah, this Doctor Strange is gonna take place somewhat almost immediately after Spider-Man No Way Home, where he's dealing with the consequences of the spell he put on Peter to make everyone forget about him. And now the multiverse is starting to collapse in on himself, and he needs Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch's help, to help him get through the multiverse. I can't wait to see what shenanigans we're gonna go into here, where he's hopping from like world to world. I know there's already like an evil Doctor Strange in this trailer, so we know that our Doctor Strange will meet evil Doctor Strange, and people are already theorizing whether or not it's Doctor Strange from What If. I highly doubt it. I don't think it's the same person, but I would love to see the Doctor Strange from What If pop in. It will just also give that show that nice canon touch to it. So yeah, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, evil Doctor Strange, multiverse, world hopping, portals, interdimensional stuff. I am excited for this.
I will say I was probably expecting a bit too much from Doctor Strange. Don't get me wrong, I still like the movie. I know a lot of people really don't, but I still like the movie for what it is. But I do wish there was more world hopping. We only went like 3 universes. I mean, even Into the Spider-Verse had 6 variants of Spider-Man, even though we didn't travel to other universes. There were at least 6 different versions of Spider-Man. In this movie, there was only like 3 versions of Doctor Strange, one of whom was dead. I mean, yeah, he comes back as a zombie. Dead for most of the movie. So I really do wish that we got more multiverse shenanigans. But what it is, I mean, the movie's fine. If anything, I wish it kind of went a bit harder. I know a lot of people are complaining about the kills in this movie, like, oh, Marvel should make this movie like R-rated, and I'm like, no, the kills are not that crazy. Like, relax. Like, I'm not a horror fan myself. I don't watch horror movies, and when I watch this movie, I'm like, okay, even I know this is pretty tame by my standards. Like, if I, of all people, say that the kills were tame, then you know it was tame. So I do think they could have got a bit more crazy with the deaths, but I mean, it was fine for what it is.
This movie, very excited. This is typical superhero stuff. This is the most superhero stuff you can do. I am so hyped for this. This is everything I wanted and more. I really hope this movie is good. As of yet, we only got like a teaser trailer, so we don't know much of the plot. But for what it's worth, very hyped. And of course, what's better than a multiverse film with Doctor Strange? A multiverse film with Spider-Man. That's right, because this Spider-Man...
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop it right here. Spider-Verse was pushed back another year, so we're not gonna get that till June. So, I mean, I'm still excited for it. It's my most anticipated movie of 2023. Like, it's still at the top of my list. Nothing has changed. I'm just praying that, unlike Doctor Strange, it doesn't let us down, and that it's really good. Like, it's actually hyped up good. And like, not only does it serve as a movie on its own, but it's also a lead-in for what do you call it? It's also a lead-in to part 2, because for those who don't know, Across the Spider-Verse isn't just going to be its own movie. It's a part 1 of a 2-part story. So part 2 is going to be Beyond the Spider-Verse, coming out I don't know when. But I'm really hoping that for Across the Spider-Verse itself, it's not only serves as a good part 1, but as a movie on its own. And it's better than the first movie. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the first Into the Spider-Verse, but I'm really hoping that this one just shoots it out of the water. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are obviously going to work on this movie, meaning that like, they're obviously like
what I
directing and
find
writing it.
so
So
cool about
it's
this
gonna
is
be
that
hype.
so
You know,
many
like they haven't
movies
let me down so far. They did Call of the Chance Meatballs,
they
Lego
went into
Movie,
space because
Mitchell's
Lego
vs. the
basically
Machines,
kind
of
of
course,
the
the
first
first
movie
Into the
done
Spider
right.
Verse.
But they went
So
to
they
do
haven't let me
more than
down as
just
of
making
yet.
a
So I'm just
trilogy. Of
praying that
course,
this movie
they
doesn't
did a
suffer
part
from
one,
like
part two,
sequelitis
and
and
this
it
is the
actually does
best
like
way to
really
make a
well,
trilogy
or it's
right
like
now.
not like
I
Doctor
think this
Strange, where it
honestly
was
is the best way
promising
to make
way
a
more
trilogy.
than
Why I
it
say that
did.
is because
But we'll
Into the
see, we'll
Spider-Verse
see.
is the
Only time
only
will tell,
standalone
and I guess
film,
I will
and
let
you
you
get to
know
know
when I
whether
do
or
my
not that
review
movie will
in
succeed.
June.
And so the fact
Now, let's get into the meat of the live stream itself. My movie reviews, the thing my channel is known for. I am going to be talking about how. I'm going to be talking which reviews I think still stand, like what my ratings of them are still accurate. Like more than a year after I reviewed them, or if I've got a soft spot for these movies and I was maybe too harsh on them or maybe too nice on them when I last reviewed them. So we'll scroll down to like, man, live streaming is weird because everything you do is on the fly. Sit down, and then you get to see all my mistakes because I want to see what I do wrong. Right. So when was the last time I did reviewing my past reviews? That's the question. That was to okay, maybe I should actually just to get the gist of when I made that video. Here, but my laptop fan is going insane right now. My laptop fan, it hates me. It hates me so much. What happened? No, don't do this to me. Go back. Right, so I made this video. Do we have a specific date to work with? June 5th, 2021. Okay, okay. So that's the timeline we're working with.
it's really like really harmless. This movie is like one of the most harmless things I've seen. So why not give it a watch if you're into something chilled and laid back? Laid back. All right, moving on.
Oh
We're reaching.
gosh.
Are we reaching the end goal?
Right,
No, we are
turn this
still
up.
far. We are so very far, my friend. I am so sorry I'm doing this to you. Anyway, SpongeBob.
Why is the quality so bad here? I'm trying to live stream. Thank
It'll
you.
just be something fun to entertain with. And so overall, SpongeBob Sponge and the Run gets a nice 7 out of 10. Thank you. So yeah, 7 out of 10, a bit too high. I think I'm gonna take it down to a 6. That's not to say I hate SpongeBob Sponge and the Run. It is the worst of the 3 SpongeBob movies. I find it just has a fast pacing, which
Don't do this to me, baby. I'm live streaming.
again, there's a difference between fast pacing and a rushed story. And Raya does not feel rushed. It's fast paced, and for that, I really like it. So 8 out of 10, definitely, definitely. This is a triple review. Scrooge to Scooby Doo is sort of the Scoop and Tom and Jerry. This one is one of my newer reviews, so again, close to the end. But basically, my thoughts on these are basically the same. Croods 2, that's like a 7 or 8 around there. I definitely think it's an 6. So I would give this movie a 5. Tom and Jerry. Then we have Godzilla vs Kong and Snack Snyder's Justice League review. This one is also a double review, so I'm going to get this one out of the way. Godzilla vs Kong, that one I still think it's an 8 out of 10. Really fun movie. While Justice League, I do remember I gave it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, my thoughts on those are still the same. And I think that's the cutoff point there, because my thoughts on these movies haven't really changed.
Okay, so the cutoff point was my double review, meaning I'm gonna be reviewing everything since then. Alright, we don't need to touch on Finding Nemo, mostly because Finding Nemo didn't come out in 2021. And you guys already know my thoughts on that movie. It's the most perfect movie of all time. 10 out of 10. Like, you're dumb if you don't like Finding Nemo and you don't consider it the most perfect thing of all time. Can like different things. It's just like, you gotta admit, Finding Nemo's got something that the other movies don't. You know, it's got something special about it. Anyway, yeah, I feel like I don't really need to talk about Finding Nemo yet again. I feel like I need to talk about Finding Nemo once every 3 months on this channel or something, just to remind you it's my favorite movie. But yeah, no, I did make that review in 2021, but it didn't come out in 2021, so we don't need to talk about it. But yeah, it's the best movie ever made. So we will start with Dream Builders. That would be where we pick up from the last video.
And movies that probably should not have stayed there. It's way too many that came out, so I need to review a lot. But anyways,
so we'll just find out my rating and we'll move on.
And say, hey, stop fighting. But then we hear something else in the background. Hey, stop fighting right now. And like these two sentences are like mixing in. So I definitely could tell it was dubbed and the audio was very bad. So I'm getting new ideas from this. But if you just want something to turn your brain off to, or to turn your kids' brain off to, this movie's fine. It's like very harmless. But if you really just want to waste time, do not watch this movie. Find something else to waste time on. But if you need to find something to keep your big kids busy with, this is the one to go for. So yeah, that's Dream Builders. Expect a lot more reviews in the coming week. And yeah, thank you so very much for watching, guys. Like if you've liked, subscribe if you haven't already. Week. And yeah.
I think I already passed it. Give me my read.
Don't watch it is what I would say. Then we hear something else in the background. Hey, stop fighting right now. And like this was very bad. So again, this could have been on the voice actor's part, or this could have been on the editor's part. Whoever's part it was, it was not good. So Dream Builders gets a 3 out of 10 from me.
3 out of 10. I think I still stick with that rating. It's not the worst thing to ever exist. But I've said it many times. This would have worked so much better if it were like a TV show. We did not need to have a 90-minute movie rushing a creative concept like this. Like, let's be honest, yeah, the concept is good, it's creative, but like the way they went about executing it was all kinds of nonsense. So I still stand by my rating. It's a 3 out of 10. It's not a complete waste of a movie. It's just very, very bad and at times very lazy. Like, I don't even think they give us the girl's backstory until like the end of the movie. And then even then, they don't even do it in a good way. It's a mess of a movie. I have a very complicated history with Dream Builders. For those who have been fans of my channel for a good long while. So yeah. Anyway, let's do Mitchell's next. I think this is a good movie. Let's talk about this one.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. I have a lot of reviews I need to make because I've seen a lot of TV shows and movies that I probably should not have stayed there. It's way too many that came out. Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. This is going to be somewhat of a shorter video, mostly because it's not really why I don't have anything to say about this movie. It's just that because it's so bad, it's just I don't definitely feel that the climax went on just a tad a bit too long. They definitely could have cut it down, give some more stuff to the middle of the movie, because again, this movie is like 2 hours long. Like, I did not expect it to be that long, or at the very least, most animated movies aren't. So it's just me, but I do feel like the climax did go on for a bit. But that's my biggest problem, that I really shouldn't have any issues with this movie. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be my review for Mitchells vs. the Machines. I did see it on time. I'm trying to get trendy. Get me some views, please. But yeah, good movie, great movie. Animation 10 out of 10. Characters 10 out of 10. Story, almost there. And the ending, could use some work. Overall, I think I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's really deserving of.
I think it is. I think my opinion still stands on that. The movie is very much an 8 out of 10. I think 8 on a bad day, 9 on a good day.
That not as good as Spider-Verse, but I worth.
Yeah, I think if I were to, I'd probably raise the rating up to a 9, but that's about it. Then we have the video where I actually talked about my old reviews, so we'll skip past that. And then Wish Dragon and Camp Cretaceous. Oh gosh, I haven't talked about Camp Cretaceous in a hot minute.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. So originally, I did make the video for Wish Dragon and Camp Cretaceous Season 3. However, the video got corrupted and I lost it. So we're doing a speedrun double review. So I have limited time, so let's do this. So Camp Cretaceous Season 3 is a fun season. I really do like the animation and I like the character drama in it. I really do also love the cliffhangers and how it ties into the movie. I do hope that... Sorry, no. The one problem I have with this season is the writing. I really hope it does get better. Is it better than season 2? I don't know. Wish Dragon. Wish Dragon is a fun movie. I really wish it got more attention and that it's not so underrated. I love the animation. I love the character movements. The background could use a bit of work, but it's fine. I also love how this movie takes cliches. It kind of uses it to its favor. Love the platonic relationship. I'm probably the millionth person to say this, and I really love Long's character. I feel like his character is the most endearing in the movie, and honestly, he should have been the main character over Din. That's just my personal opinion. Both of them get an 8 out of 10. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the universe.
You're gonna lag on me? You're gonna move to the next video? Like I don't matter? I don't think I like streaming anymore. I don't know how much longer. Okay. Well, my laptop takes a while to, come back to life. Yeah, I think my thoughts are more or less the same. Camp Cretaceous Season 3, I think I like it so much mainly because it ties into the movie, so I may have a soft spot for it there. Yeah. And as for Wish Dragon,
this one is also a double.
It's good. I'll admit it's an Aladdin ripoff, a very shameless one at that, but it's a fun movie. I still think it's good. But the animation does look cheap, especially considering that this movie was a partnership between Sony and a Chinese studio. You'd have thought they would have a bit more budget to work with, but it looks very cheap, I'm not gonna lie. The backgrounds especially. But the character designs and like the whole genie thing, that's on point. It's good. Alright, Luca, let's see.
And again, a really good coming of age movie. Go check Luca out. I know I've really summarized a lot here, but the movie just came out and I don't want to give off too many spoilers. This is the one movie where I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's best if the audience watch it for themselves. So again, go check out Luca, really good movie. And of course, since it's Pixar, there's no way in hell this thing can be underrated. Go check out Luca, go watch it. It's a fun movie, great animation, great characters, great story, great pacing, great writing, and yeah, great story. I really do like the story and about how laid back it is. It's a very low stakes movie, and it's been a while since we saw a chill movie. So again, I like this. Go check out Luca again, and 9 out of 10. This movie gets a 9 out of 10.
9? Wow, I was bold back then. I don't think Luca is that good. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong. It's a very wonderful, beautiful movie. And again, if you want a chill movie to sit back to, yeah, Luca is the one for you. But I don't think it's worthy of a 9. Like, even I know my limits. I think 8 is more like it. I think Luca does deserve an 8. So, you know what? We'll stick with that. Then there's Boss Baby 2. He is not the baby. What is wrong with me and my titling?
At least there were new ideas there. Here it's just not rinse, wash, repeat. It's just a lot of what we've seen before. And also, weirdly enough, we have 2 musical numbers in this movie, which I was not opposed to. I especially liked the second song. That was a really good song, and I liked the way it was used in the finale. Come get me, bro! And yeah, that's really all I gotta say about this movie. It is it's pretty good. It's nothing amazing, nothing horrible, and honestly, you'll forget about this movie like immediately you're done watching it. It's not the most forgettable film of all time. It's just so harmless, like you really can't do anything about it. It's not gonna change the world or anything. So yeah, there we go. That's my review of The Boss Baby 2. Hope you enjoyed it. I really tried to make this. I don't know. We had like, was it Evil Babies? I don't know. At least there were new ideas there. Here it's just not rinse wash you.
Okay, I don't think I gave a score. It doesn't seem.
And I kind of expected this going in, so I was really just old people. And I don't know, we had like, was it Evil Babies? I don't know. At least there were new ideas there. Here it's just not rinse, wash, repeat. It's just a lot of what we've seen before. And also, weirdly enough, we have...
It's better than the first Boss Baby. I'm gonna say that. Like, I was very boldly say that. It's very much better than the first Boss Baby. Less memeable and less memorable, but at least it feels like it's telling a more genuine story. So for that, I think I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'll be nice today. It gets a 6 out of 10. Troll Hunters: Rise of the Titans. To say on this movie, as you can tell, I made 2 videos on it, one talking about the movie itself and one talking about the ending, and I felt like it was important for me to separate my feelings because, well, I mean, let the video speak for itself.
Pay respect to these characters. That way it would have worked out better. But of course, the ending doesn't allow that. Oh boy, that ending really pisses me off. We're gonna talk about that. But yeah, all in all, what I will say of Troll Hunters: Rise of the Titans is that this movie is great, near perfect even. It really is a final conclusion to the Tales of Arcadia series. It took everything we loved from the shows and just made it good. But obviously, there were a few drawbacks. I wish you spent more time on the characters and, you know, how they bounce off one another. Again, I mentioned that I like the dynamic between some characters, though I would have liked it between all characters, since they're all joining to fight this one villain. Another thing that this movie could have done better in was, I don't know, just the way it executed itself. It's not that this movie was messy, to say the least. It just sort of didn't know how to end. It told the story, it just didn't know how to end the story. So I guess that was a big issue with this movie. So yeah, wish there was more characterization, and I wish this movie was better structured. Otherwise, this was a good movie with amazing animation, a great story, and an awesome finale to the show. All in all, with, you know, if I didn't watch the ending, I would have given Troll Hunters: Rise of the Titans a 9 out of 10. However, because of that goddamn ending, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. So guys, that's my review.
Right, Troll Hunters. Listen, I like to separate. I'm one of those weird fans who like to separate the movie from the ending. The movie on its own is amazing. It's beautiful. It's everything I could have wanted. Could have been more. Yeah, I do feel like Dukes should have been more Dukes, whatever the fan base calls him, should have been a more central character. Him and Jim should have formed a sort of brotherhood between the two. We could have done without the whole pregnant Steve arc. Better, in my opinion. I don't think you could have, you should have totally omitted it, though that was an option. But yeah, I mean, the movie itself was really good. I enjoyed it. I felt like Tales of Arcadia to me, it's a strong 8 out of 10. But that ending ruined everything. That ending ruined the entire, like, it retroactively ruined the entire series. And everyone is very bitter about that ending. Like, go ask anyone about this movie, they'll be like, it's fine, just ignore the ending. And I say that as well. So if we cut the last 2 to 5 minutes out of this movie, it's like a 9 out of 10. If you include the ending, I'm talking 1 point for the ending. But if I'm looking at the ending on its own, it's very horrible, very poor way to end this series. 1 out of 10 is like a 0 out of 10. Like, it's horrible. It's that bad. But the movie itself, it's good. The movie is good. So to anyone who's gonna watch Troll Hunters, my condolences to you. Just watch the movie itself and ignore the last 2 to 5 minutes. Then we have the Black Widow, Suicide Squad, and the Flash stuff coming out. Flash, I only grouped it up here because I don't want to talk about the series on its own. Flash is a very messy show. I don't like making videos about it, so I always group it up with other videos. I think this was Flash season 7, if I'm not wrong. I don't want to click on... Yeah, Flash season 7. That one was a very goofy season. I cannot lie. That season was goofy. Black Widow, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a good spy movie. Very weak superhero movie. So it gets like a 5 out of 10 for me. And then we have the Suicide Squad, which was actually a really great movie. That one gets like an 8 out of 10 in my books, maybe even a movie. So that ones I don't need to like go back to that video. It's a very long video, so we don't even need to worry about it. This one is Vivo. I remember looking forward to this movie and really liking it a lot when it came out. My thoughts still stand up. Hold up. Hold up.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Before the video starts, I might as well let you know that this video is sponsored by Fitness Solutions, the gym equipment company that sells below. Trust me, their website is legit. But another thing I did want to talk about was I'm making a video essay. I don't know if it's a video essay or a podcast. Marketing it right. So there were some people who are hyped with it, and then some people who are just like, Netflix, why aren't you advertising this? I haven't watched this movie because you haven't advertised it, so it's just weird. In the end, I give Vivo an 8 out of 10, and I feel like
I mean, it's more or less that. The little chunk of the movie is very much filler, and you guys know how I feel about filler. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe a of how much the movie doesn't do much movie. It felt like a very long special, you know? It should have, maybe if it was more of a special and less of a movie, I would have put it higher. Because there's really not a lot of substance to it looking back at Vivo. So yeah. Then there was my video essay on Sony. Go watch that if you haven't already. I think it was a pretty good video essay. Pixar movie tier list. I only made this tier list because I didn't want to do a full-on video ranking every Pixar movie, because at the time Luca had just come out and I didn't want to just add Luca to the list, because I think the year before I did make a Pixar video where I included only Onward, because Soul hadn't come out yet, so I didn't want to just include Luca and Soul for the sake of it. I figured I'd wait until 2022 when we got both Turning Red and Lightyear, and then I could make a full video out of that. So for the time being, I only made a tier list, and for it works. I mean, I think it still holds up. Then there was a Star Wars movie and TV show tier list, which I'm gonna let you guys know right now. After Ahsoka comes out, I am gonna make a Star Wars TV show video. So this tier list was just also to buy time. And then I didn't review anything until Spider-Man. What the frick? How long is that? Vivo came out in like August, didn't it? I didn't review anything for a solid few months. When did Vivo come out? Yeah, no, Vivo came out in like August, I'm pretty sure. So I didn't review anything for like 4 months.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain.
Alright, let's jump to the end.
Really wish you could have gotten a sexy one. What else are things I...
By the way, I just want to let you guys know there is a possibility that this stream could crash. I'm hearing that there might be a power outage in a bit, so that might get rid of the Wi-Fi, but it'll come back almost as fast. So if the stream does crash, just don't worry, there's going to be another one popping up almost immediately. So hope everything turns out well. But if it does crash, just know there's a power outage.
And love about this movie. I love the fact that all Spideys are innately good and heroic, and they put everything on the line to save these villains' lives. Any other hero or someone would have sent these villains back to their world and, like, you know, it's their responsibility. But here, they actually put the entire world on the line just to save these villains. Even some who don't want to be saved, like Norman Osborn. And again, I really love the fact that this movie set the line with great power comes great responsibility. And yes, I do love Aunt May. I love Aunt May as much as the next person. But it really made more sense for Uncle Ben to say, given like the circumstances and whatnot. Then again, I really love the fact that Aunt May was such a strong character in this film, and I can't let it go that she's the one who said it. And of course, we can't talk about Aunt May without Aunt May's death. Just something I would have never seen. Anyways, in conclusion, I cannot find anything wrong with this movie, aside from some things that I thought would make it absurdly better. This movie is truly a rare specimen, in that during filming, nothing went wrong, no one passed away, and the circumstances were just right for it. And of course, a great, I guess Christmas present for Marvel and Sony, given it came out in December. This movie, This movie, Sony and Marvel really know how to treat their fans, and they give them the most love and appreciation with this master. Really, Of course, a great, I guess Christmas present for Marvel and Sony, given it came out in December. This movie, what's this? This movie, Sony and Marvel really know how to treat their fans, and they give them the most love and appreciation with this masterpiece. This love letter of a movie, I really cannot understate how much I love it so much. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. One of the best movies I've ever seen, and an easy 8 out of 10.
8? 8? Was I high? 8? Oh my gosh! No, 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 no. We need to take a step back here and look at this. All right, Spider-Man: No Way Home is a 10 out of 10 at the very least. At the very least, all right. Like if Finding Nemo was a 10.10 out of 10, No Way Home is just a regular 10 out of 10. You can't give it an 8 and say you found nothing wrong with the movie. I was high, guys. Ignore me. I was crazy. I was taking some crazy pills. All right, and that ends 2021. So this brings us into 2022 with the first movie I reviewed, Ice Age: The Adventures of Buck Wild, which I called Buck Mild because this movie sucks so much. But let's see what I gave it.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. I hate. I would rather watch the Emoji Movie over this movie, because at the very least, the Emoji Movie is a movie that is cringy. I can pick apart that movie and make fun of it at every single turn. I can make fun of that movie from here to high water, from hell and back again. I could make fun of that movie all day, every day. But with this movie, there is just nothing to say. There is absolutely nothing to say about this dumpster fire, except I feel bad. I feel bad for everyone who worked on this movie, because legit, the animators, the voice actors, the writers, everyone, they only worked on this movie just so they could get that January paycheck and pay for their families or whatnot. This movie is not good in the slightest. If you think, and that's really the worst thing about this movie, if you are so bad, you would make me rather watch the Emoji Movie, you know you hit a new low. Alright? Again, I would rather watch the Emoji Movie over this. This is not entertaining in the slightest. I can't make fun of this. There's nothing to enjoy here. And without further ado, I give Ice Age 6, The Dumb Adventures of Buck Mild, a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
This movie is garbage. And for my first movie,
Definitely hold up there. This movie is poo poo. It's a 1 out of 10. If I could give it any lower, I would. -1. It's a very bad movie. I don't like it.
howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here.
Oh boy, Tall Girl 2. You guys know I don't like the Tall Girl movies. I'm really hoping they don't announce a third one. But I hate this franchise with all my heart. I hate it with a vengeance.
The movie introduces her like she's gonna add some flavor to the movie, but she doesn't do. I was expecting an exaggerated comedy. Sorry, this movie is cringy. That's what I meant to say. This movie is cringy. The writing and story are weak, and the characters are trash. When I saw the first movie, I was expecting an exaggerated comedy on the stereotypes of tall people. But now, I feel offended for them. I'm just waiting for Netflix Short Boy to release, just so we can bring this full circle. My God. When I went into this movie, I knew what I was in for, and I still hated it. It's one of the worst movie franchises of all time, and any potential it has to be a good movie is thrown out the window. For this and any future sequels it will make, it will not be good, because they wasted all the potential they could have. The first movie sunk that ship. The second one burnt the bridge so we'll never get back. In the end, Tall Girl 2 is a tall mess, and I give it a 3 out of 10.
A 3? Boy, you are generous. Boy, you are generous. A 3? This movie is poison. This movie is human waste. I hate it so much. I could go on and on talking about why I hate Tall Girl and the very concept of its existence and how they could make this work, and they botched it all day, every day. But I'm just gonna leave it at Tall Girl sucks. And I honestly forgot it even came out last year. I swear, I thought it came out in like 2020. I didn't even know it came out. The second movie came out last year. It's bad, guys. It is so bad. Like everyone memes on Netflix for not understanding teenagers and making like the worst teenage shows ever. But like this is it, people. I don't think they can sink any lower than this, personally. Like keep making your Ginny and Georges and whatever, I don't care. But when you're making this, just know like genuine talent on this. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about a movie I was fine with. And that was Turning Red. That came out before Pinocchio True Story. Interesting. So, funny story with this video, actually. I originally made like a full-on... I made like a full-on 20-minute video for this review for this movie. However, Disney blocked it, much like Amazon did. Not Amazon. Was it Amazon? No, Sony did for Hotel Transylvania 4. So I couldn't release that video, and so I ended up making it a short. Unlike Hotel Transylvania, where I just gave up, I just decided to make it a short. But that 20-minute video, man, it had some effort put into it. Sadly, will never see the light of day.
Avengers Captain Phoenix here. Originally, I did have a video for Turning Red. It was fully edited and everything, and I spoke my heart out. But Disney and Pixar decided to block me because they hate me. I love them, but they hate me. This is a one-sided relationship, apparently. So I'll give you my review here. What do you think of Turning Red? I think it's a good movie, good animation, good story, good everything, really. It's got a good message at heart. It reminds me a lot of Encanto meets Inside Out meets Brave, just kind of all grouped together and done really well. I still like Encanto a bit more, but this is a really good movie, a generational drama, and puberty. Yes, this is a movie about puberty. So adults out there, if you want to show your kids, if you want to sort of like get into that conversation with your kids, I would say this is something nice to start them off with, just so both of you can end up on even ground. And again, it's Pixar. It's a beautiful movie. It just looks great. 7 out of 10.
I think my thoughts still stand in it. I'm not a Turning Red fan or stan or whatever. Or these teenage girls going, "Oh my gosh, it speaks so much to me." But I think it's a good movie. I definitely think there's a very good heart and center to it. And as I said, I wouldn't mind if Pixar made more movies like this in the future. But in terms of movies related to this, I would say it's definitely the weakest of like the type of movie it's trying to be. Like, for example, it wants to be a more slice of life, down to earth movie. And I still have Luca. I would rather watch Luca over Turning Red. And if it's a movie speaking of like generational trauma, again, I would rather watch Encanto, And honestly, Disney, it's like they don't know how to do these generational trauma movies anymore. Like they peaked with Encanto, and in my opinion, Turning Red was weaker, and then they just completely dropped the ball with Strange World. So at this point in time, like, just give up, man. Move on to a new topic to milk. And like, you can't even go past the first movie. Just stop. So next we have Pinocchio, A True Story. This one is honestly my favorite. It was my favorite video to make last year. This was hands down. I don't know if it's the best video, but it was hands down in all of 2022. I had so much fun making this one. It was so good. The movie itself sucks, but the video itself, in my opinion, was amazing. We should go more views though.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix. Actors are all bad. The voice acting is literal doo-doo water. All of them just do not deliver the voice as well. Lucilda sounds like those soapy, sappy people you find on the cards. She's literally every like lovey-dovey greeting card you'd find in the story. Always believe in tomorrow. Miracles are for free. Oh my God, I am Lucilda. It's like no. She's literally just a walking card. Geppetto, as I mentioned, his voice wasn't too horrible, but the detective's voice, as I mentioned, he's just way too cartoony. So yeah, the voice acting is. True Story is a film that lies to you. It is not based on any real events. There were no real talking puppets back then, no fairies and no magic, and can you believe it, no talking animals. What? Oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. It does not have a good story with an emotional center. It does not have good animation, nor does it have sympathetic characters. What Pinocchio, A True Story is a bad movie that shouldn't even be classified as a movie. This thing is an insult to not just its source material, not just the fans of the source material, not just animation in general, but an insult insult to all of media. Pinocchio, a true story, is one of the worst movies I have ever seen, and because it's so bad I couldn't enjoy it, I give it a 1 out of 10. I hope you lose the war, Russia. This film budget or its profits or whatever money it's making for you, they're not going to do much for your murder efforts.
Okay, I was a bit too extra in that one, but I still stand by it. Pinocchio True Story is horrible. It's the only merit I can give this movie is that it's a fun movie to laugh at. Like if you just want to watch a bad movie for the sake of it, you can watch Pinocchio True Story. But if you're looking for any sort of substance from this, and mind you, I watched the UK dub, so I didn't watch the version with Pauly Shaw in it. So I was stuck with the boring cut, and it is bad. It is just bad. Pinocchio True Story is horrible. I hate it so much. I'd still rather watch it over what do you call it, over Ice Age, because at the very least there were things they could make fun of in Pinocchio. Whereas with Ice Age, it was just one boring schlock. It was full of nothing. So I'd still rather watch Pinocchio. Anyway, Minions 2. Let's talk about Despicable Me -1, Despicable Me 0. I guess that's what you call it. And then Minions 1 would be Despicable Me -1.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Alright, let's make this quick. I don't have all day. So, I saw Minions, The Rise of...
What is happening? Screen, don't turn on me like this. Let's be scary.
And it is definitely a movie. Granted, it's one of the better ones to come out 2020, but it's still a movie nonetheless. This is Illumination's latest animated movie, and I gotta say, it's actually pretty entertaining. The animation's really colorful and really hyper all over.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with the video. Chat, how you doing? Talk to me, chat. Bad audio, get a mic. Okay. You know, you're kind of right. Mic.
That Illumination was not shy. Illumination tried their hand at it. It didn't really work out, and so and it feels recent too, because like movies like The Grinch and Sing 2, you could tell they were definitely aiming for kids, and this movie just goes full on for kids. I feel like this movie would be enjoyed, especially from like the 8 to 12-year-olds, and Illumination just goes full on with that. So basically, if you go to watch an Illumination movie, you know you're going for a fast food movie kind of movie. It's not deep, it's not life changing. It's there just to distract you and especially your kids for an hour and a half while you just go off and do things. It's literally background noise, and the stories are so simple that you could like black out and come back into the movie and nothing would have changed. So the kind of get to say animation, all animation is for kids, because you guys know I'm not about animation. But this movie is very much for kids. There is a butt joke or a poop basically seen the entire movie. It's all there. So yeah, this movie is fun, better than the last Minions movie. As a movie on its own, it's really not good. It's like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. But if I were to rank it on how much I enjoyed it, and like again treated it like fast food, it's like a 7 out of 10. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 works for it. Don't take it.
Enjoy it. I was in the theater with a.
Don't try and review it as a movie. It is. This is one of those movies where the haters will point to and be like, animation is just for kids. So I'm like, I mean, it's not for kids. Animation isn't just for kids. So you know, you don't need to try and draw a comparison like that. It's not working, buddy. You're not that guy, buddy. You're not that guy.
How D Space Rangers Captain Phoenix here. So
Right, next is Thor Love and Thunder.
but he is going to be fighting Thor, and that is a fight I am dying to see. We saw how Thor went against Zeus. I do wish that fight was better, lightning on lightning, but he just kind of took Zeus's thunderbolt and ended it there. But now we get to see Thor versus Hercules, who truly is stronger. Imagine if we get a Hercules versus Hulk movie. Now that would be just amazing. And yeah, this movie definitely left me wanting more. I am very excited for Thor 5. But on this movie alone, if I'm talking about this movie just as a movie and how much I enjoyed it, it's 6 out of 10 on a bad day, 7 out of 10 on a good day.
I think I stick with that. The movie is very much a 6 out of 10. It had so much wasted potential. There was like this movie could have been way better than it was, and it just wasn't. Which I think is a reason why people consider it to be like the worst MCU Phase 4 movie so far. You know, pretending as if Eternals doesn't exist. But I get the anger. I get where the anger is coming from. There was a lot of missed potential in this movie. Basically, it promised to be more than it was, and unlike Doctor Strange, where it just couldn't hit that mark, this movie felt as if it was actively avoiding the mark. So I can understand people's anger. Right, next is every Illumination tier list ranking. I basically only made minions 2 to the list and give my official thoughts on Illumination, which is like whatever. Then we have every Pixar movie ranked from worst to best. As I mentioned, this video was a long time coming, but I moved it to 2022, so at the very least I would have 4 movies to add to the list. Soul, Luca, Time, whereas before it would have only been 2 movies. So I think at that point in time, this list was warranted. I guess now that means the next time I make another list like this would be when Toy Story 5 comes out, maybe, because we're having Elemental come out, Inside Out, Elio, and then afterwards I think they're going to be doing like Toy Story 5, so maybe then, or maybe after Elio, who knows. But as I mentioned, these videos are getting kind of ridiculously long and they take up a lot of storage, so I might just end up resorting to tier lists in the future. Who would have thought that an animation studio would continue making animated movies? Who would have seen that coming, you know? By the way, this video we're doing now is the Pinocchio live action remake, and yes, I know I promised I would review Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
And again, the reason I'm so pissed off at
Okay, and that plan hasn't changed. I'm still gonna review Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It's just taking me a while to write the script and come up with a proper way to review it, and also not have the thing go over 30 minutes like these other 2 videos, which are very long. But I am still gonna review it. It's still the best Pinocchio movie out of the 3, and I think one of the best Pinocchio movies, period. But yeah, anyways, thinking that this Disney thing.
let's look again at this beautiful.
Oh wow, I talk about Finding Nemo again. How surprising of me to do so. Anyway, let's see why I mentioned this. Finding Nemo.
Go find Pinocchio. How?
Quit buffering. I have good Wi-Fi. Why are you pretending I don't have good Wi-Fi?
To top it all off, they actually better make the joke. You did all that in a day? And I'm like, bro, you sold all your clocks in a night. Did you just have a line of customers waiting for you? Not only did you sell your clocks, but you're able to buy and organize a boat to go find Pinocchio. How about you, Mr. Flash? So yeah, instead of even getting a potentially emotional scene, we instead got the funny. And again, the reason I'm so pissed off at this, let's look again at this beautiful masterpiece of a film, Finding Nemo. Imagine if in this movie, Marlin and Nemo reunite, but instead of it feeling like happy or cathartic, like rewarding after all these characters have been through, Nemo trips or slips onto the seabed, and a laugh track plays in the background. Imagine how much emotion would have been taken away from this scene. And of course, I don't even need to talk about Figaro and...
Wow, the fact that I had to use Finding Nemo to, dunk on Pinocchio, that's how you know I was serious. And what are my final thoughts on this? had almost as much fun making this video as I did a true story. So, I think maybe I should just stick to making Pinocchio videos from here on out.
Stop making their classics and only make something that's absolutely worth it. Like, remake something that actually deserves it, like the Black Cauldron or something, which I've heard is pretty good. I haven't watched it, but I've heard that if they rework it, they could make something good out of it. But seeing as that's not happening anytime soon, and these remakes are just gonna keep coming out.
Oh my god! What's wrong with your face?
Oh my goodness, no, what the hell? Oh my god, no way.
All we can do for these future Disney remakes is just not support them and shake our heads and wag our fingers at Disney. But as long as children exist, they're gonna keep watching them. Because I remember when I was a child and I was looking forward to these live action remakes, I wanted to watch them so badly. I really thought that live action a live action remake was gonna be the bomb compared to its animated classic. Oh, I was so naive. In the end, Pinocchio 2022 gets a 5 out of 10. That's on the Disney remake scale. I do say it's one of Disney's better remakes as it's less offensive and you won't watch Comet die if you watch it. It does look better. It has slightly better writing and all in all, it's like a less offensive remake compared to the other ones. Like compared to its competition like Mulan and Lion King, it's definitely one of the better ones. I don't think it's as good.
Disney live action remakes, like it doesn't completely crap on the original. It still basically misses the point of the other Pinocchio like versions, but it also like it's basically harmless. It's a very harmless remake. Like you can watch this and walk away from it, and the only thing you will feel you have lost is time. That's basically the movie. It's just a waste of time, really. Like this movie is one of those movies you'd find at the dentist office, where you go to like wait for your dentist appointment and you're sitting there in the waiting room. Meanwhile, you have the TV in the corner playing a movie. This movie is one of just there to be put on as background noise. So it's very inoffensive, unlike Lion King and Mulan, which peel my eyes out every time I think of those two movies. But yeah, this one's very inoffensive. It's like a 4 out of 10. It's my thoughts on this one haven't really changed. But we're getting 2 remakes this year, a Peter Pan remake and a Little Mermaid remake. And I am, especially the Little Mermaid, cannot wait to see how they completely dunk on it. So how they completely crap on something that made my childhood. And I've mentioned it before. Mulan, and to an extent Raya from Raya and the Last Dragon, simply due to the fact that Raya is an actual warrior. I know we have Mulan, but like she wasn't the best fighter, So yeah, all right. So from Pinocchio we have movie hot takes. I am gonna be doing another movie hot takes, so just know that there's a movie hot takes 2 coming your way at some point in time, and we'll have Wakanda Forever, and then afterwards we're done, I think, because yellow. Stop. Yeah, because now it will be top 12 animated movies. Okay, cool. So Wakanda Forever, what are my thoughts on this movie? And don't you know I'm still standing? No, stop. You are on stream. You're not allowed to sing like in the goddamn shower.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. So, Black but hey, it's what I think personally. And I also really like how they didn't kill him in the end. Shuri did not kill Namor. And this is very cool because if you know Marvel, you know that they love to kill villains. Like almost every movie of theirs has to result in a villain death. But yeah, Shuri did not kill Namor. and they're saving him for future movies, which is very interesting. I know in like the comics he was a very big character, and like in the comics he was like T'Challa's big main arch nemesis, but here Shuri showed restraint, which is again very impressive for an MCU movie because them refraining from killing the villain and saving them for later, that must have taken a lot of restraint. Same thing goes for the second post.
One thing I will say about Marvel is that, yeah, there is, with this movie in particular, there was a lot of restraint. You could feel them really holding back from doing the more marvelly things. For example, there was only one post-credit scene in this movie. They also, what was this? They didn't kill Namor, and even in the scene where Shuri goes to like the afterlife to meet, well, where she hoped to meet T'Challa, and she instead meets Killmonger, you could feel them holding back using like deep fakes or CG to quote unquote bring Boseman back to life. It's like, okay, we gotta find a way to write this properly, and so they included Killmonger in that scene instead of Chadwick Boseman, which again, huge respect. They really held back a lot in this movie. I love the hate this movie gets because, you know, for being the quote unquote typical Marvel movie, it does, you know, go out of its way to avoid doing all those things Marvel movies are known for. I mean, yeah, it still builds up to future Marvel movies, but you gotta remember this is still Disney we're talking about. They still want to make money at the end of the day. So of course we're gonna get things like go watch Ironheart, or, you know, stay in for Black Panther 3 or whatever. It's like there's something you need to expect, people. It's not a perfect world for everyone. Why do you do this to me? Do you know I was frozen today?
Which of course I have to mention. So here we go, we're in the conclusion now. Overall, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a messy but very enjoyable and entertaining film that I would say is even on par with its predecessor. I don't know if it's better than the first Black Panther movie, but I can't say it's probably just as good. I don't have to go see like the first Black Panther movie again, but I'd say as of now it is just as good as the first one. This movie
Internet, why you like this? I suppose not for that. Don't be like this. I'm telling you, the teacher.
is a very emotional and respectful send-off to Chadwick Boseman, his legacy, his career, and of course the character he played. And I'm definitely looking forward to more in this franchise, especially now that they seem to have kind of got themselves corrected. They kind of know what they want to do now. So I'm very happy for it, and I'm excited to see more from the Black Panther side of the MCU. And I can say,
I mean, looking back at Wakanda Forever, I will say I've noticed a few more of the cracks that show in the film, and I don't think I can say it's on par with the first Black Panther movie. I can say it's a good movie, but I don't think it's as good as the first one. So, I mean, my score has only gone down a bit. Like, I think it put an 8, a 7, really.
of the MCU. And I can safely say that this is a good conclusion to Phase 4 of the MCU, and it's a very good movie. About 8 out of 10. Why not?
Yeah, no, I think 7 is better for it. 7 is around like what I'm looking for. So yeah, and that does it for the movies. I don't know if I'll have enough time to do the TV shows. Live stream, you know, get this up to like 5 likes or something. I don't know. Come on, don't mess with me, internet. Where are you? Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. TV shows, TV shows. Yeah, here we go. This is it. Talk to me.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Now, you might be wondering.
Right. Let's see how much ground we'd have to cover. Well, I could just speed run it, honestly. Let's look at the TV shows from the past year at the very least. Stop it. Just stop it. Yeah, if we look at everything from like here, Kid Cosmic Season 3, I mean, it's good. I still think it's good. It's the shortest of the 3 seasons, and not a lot of the things to say here. Actually, I probably should save this for another. Wait, is there? Okay, actually, no. Let's go through this. It's not long. Let's go through this real quick.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Today we're going to talk about Cosmic Season 3. I'm going to give it a review short because it was only like 6 episodes long, so I might as well get into it. Obviously, the best part of this season is definitely the animation and the characters. I do feel like the action scenes are very good, and for a pseudo superhero show, they are really well animated. I also really like the characters and how they're all well developed and how they all each get a chance to shine. Like even like little kid Rosa has her an episode dedicated to herself. I also really like the one character per season thing they're doing where Kid is like the main character of the first season, then Joe's the main character of the second season, and then Papa G's the main character of the third season. Really like that. I also really like the parallels that can draw this show to other shows. Like I'm getting a lot of Totally Spies, Powerpuff Girls, and Ben 10 vibes from this show. I do wish, however, one thing that annoyed me is that they really should have kept Papa G's death. They teased it like twice and were like 2 fake out deaths. I really wish they had the balls to go all the way through with it. However, that did not detract from the ending. I really do think.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's fine. Kid Cosmic Season 3 is like very much like an 8.
This show had a really good ending, really strong fall, landing, and I do think that it achieved the 24 episode quota it was going for. Anyway, that's all I need. Bye. 8 out of 10 show.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. I think it still stands on its own. The show in its entirety is like an 8 out of 10. Season 3 on its own probably would be like a 9, I think, if I was being brutally honest, like an 8 or a 9. Animation stellar as always. I love that old comic book style feel for the animation, like something from the 2010s. Again, I felt like I was watching Ben 10 again watching this show. So, like you can't dock a show for making you nostalgic despite being new, and original for that. It's a completely original show. So how about that?
No, not what you show. You'll be severely disappointed. And even if you want to see like an entirely new character like grow into his own, you'll also be disappointed. So I don't watch this show for the characters. If you want to watch it for the fan service and as a sort of and you want to watch this show as just an advertisement for the Mandalorian season 3, go ahead and watch it. There's a lot of fan service. You will not get disappointed. Disney and Disney are to handle it. And Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are the future of Star Wars. These two are the only ones we can depend on because Oh boy, Star Wars is a mess. I tell you, it is a mess. It's not a bad mess, but it's a mess. It's one weird mess. And yeah, I get the actors do fine. Yeah, I don't mind the actors. The actors did a great job here. Tamara Morrison and Ming-Na Wen, great actors, great leads. Of course, they got what's his name? The guy who plays Did. Gosh, they got him back. Really love it. Yeah, there's a lot to love the show and a lot to hate. Honestly, I can't give this show a high score, so I think just because I'm feeling good today and I'm trying to see the bright side of this show, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Alright?
Okay, no, I was brutal on that day. I was thinking like 6 vein, but not to 5 out of 10. I still stand by it. Book of Boba Fett is the worst live-action Star Wars show. Not the worst Star Wars show, because remember, Resistance still exists. But for what it is trying to do, it is very weak. I like how we try to get a character study of Boba Fett in the first couple episodes, and then they just drop it. Like, they completely drop it. They don't give him a good arc to follow through. Like, they set him up so well, and they give him a nice journey to go on, and then they cut it and then just rush to the end of his character development. It's honestly kind of dumb. And now looking at The Mandalorian Season 3, because as of recording, the first episode has come out and I've already seen it. It is sad to know that Grief Karga is a way better, like, magistrate or, like, leader of his people off screen than Boba Fett is on screen. It's very sad. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Book of Boba Fett, it's one of the weaker Star Wars shows. The fan service, but I came here to watch Boba Fett, not Mandalorian 2.5. The Mandalorian stuff is obviously great. You know, you love to see more magical, more Luke Skywalker, more Grogu, but this part of the show, the Boba part of the show, is very weak. So yeah, no, it's still like a 5. It's like you could tell they didn't want it to be bad. It's just they also didn't have any faith in it to be good. That's what I would say. So yeah. And I think my title for the review is good. Book of Star Wars. The Book of Star Wars. Because it really is trying to jam as much Star Wars stuff as it can. And yeah, it's like trying to bring back stuff from the Clone Wars. It's also trying to bring back stuff from the original trilogy, The Mandalorian. Hell, Ming-Na Wen is now even in The Bad Batch. And this came out after The Bad Batch. So, I mean, she was technically there in The Mandalorian first, but like again, now they're even bringing The Bad Batch in. Like, it's trying to connect as many Star Wars properties to itself as possible, and it's just not working, man. This is not the Avengers crossover you think it is. And I swear, if they are trying to make Boba Fett like the whole crossover thing, because I do know the guys at Lucasfilm are saying that they want Star Wars to be sort of, or at least the Star Wars shows they're making, to be sort of like its own cinematic universe, where all these shows play a part into, how should I say, into building up to something bigger. Like, there's gonna be this show down the line where they have to face off against some threat or something, or deal with some issue that's bigger than all of them. It forces all these characters to come together, to meet, and to face this threat together. That's what the guys at Lucasfilm are saying. And so I'm really hoping Boba Fett isn't the hub for that. I really hope Boba Fett isn't like the place where all the crossovers happen. Like in the first season.
Before I start the video, let me just say real quick to get.
Like in the first season, they all crossed over to face this threat, and then in the second season, now they're crossing over for the big thing. I'm not a huge fan of that, but at the same time, I don't want them to do their shows, putting part 1, part 2, part 3 in like completely different shows for their crossovers. So, I don't know, if you're gonna make a crossover show, make it a big crossover show. Kind of do what you're gonna do with Ahsoka. I can only assume Ahsoka's gonna have its own crossovers to it. Anyway, next Star Wars show is Kenobi, because this and Book of Boba Fett did come out actually pretty close to each other. A lot of people hate this show. I have a soft spot for it. It did give me a new love of Star Wars, and if something gives me the love of Star Wars, I'll be soft on it. Like The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was the first Star Wars movie I'd ever seen, and because of that, I can't bring myself to hate it as much as the rest of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, and how he becomes a villain, and how even Obi-Wan becomes Alec Guinness, or slowly turns into the Alec Guinness version of Obi-Wan in Episode 4. And hell, even I would like to see Leia and Roken becoming leaders of the rebellion, and how that would even tie into Star Wars Rebels. I just want to see more of this show. I want to see all aspects it can introduce, and how cool that would be. But I do feel like since this is a limited series and Disney markets it as a limited series, it probably won't happen. I don't see us getting a season 2. Maybe we'll get some sort of follow-up story, but
yeah, no, I don't want a season 2. I think we're good where we are. also considering the fact that there's really no threat they could introduce in season 2, considering Maul dies in Rebels, so it wouldn't make sense for him and Kenobi to meet before then. And Kenobi's already had his duel with Vader, so for him and Vader to have yet another duel after this would just be kind of dumb. So really, the only threat Kenobi could come across in a season 2 would be Inquisitors. But seeing, and again, he didn't really fight any Inquisitors in season 1, so this would be something actually interesting for him to come across. And who knows, maybe they'll bring in more, what's his name, Liam Neeson as Ghost Qui-Gon if they wanted to. But as such, I kind of don't want a season 2. You can make a follow-up show, kind of like Jedi Survivor or Andor, to kind of have more events from Kenobi. Like in Andor, as I said, I wanted to see more of the rebellion rise. Andor gave me that. It's more of the rebellion. So, instead of now introducing just Mon Mothma, introduce Leia and Roken and all those guys. Like, I honestly thought Roken would have been part of the rebels Andor teamed up with during the heist arc. Like, they set him up for that, right? Like, it's not just me who assumed he'd be there, but whatever. I have my own issues with Andor.
Closest we have is Rebels. So if you want to see the story continue in some way, shape, or form, go watch Rebels. But yeah, this show, while not perfect, and it's definitely not perfect, I'll let you know, is truly, in my opinion, a love letter to Star Wars and to the Star Wars fans. And with that, I will comfortably give it an 8 out of 10.
Looking back at Kenobi, maybe an 8 is too high. I am willing to admit an 8 is too high. So I could, however, I don't want to give it something low like a 5 or a 6 because that's just a bit too harsh. And again, I do have a soft spot for this show. So I think for now, let's just give it a comfortable 7, but it's a low 7. Like, I am willing to admit, objectively, Andor is the better show. I've said it. There, I've said it. And I'm only going to say it once more when I rank all the Star Wars shows. But this is the only time you're going to hear me say it. So yeah, next is Miss Marvel. Before this video, by the way, I made a video talking about the Marvel formula and how the Marvel formula will get stale if they don't shake things up, which is where the title comes from. I was right. It's not marvelous because Miss Marvel follows the Marvel formula.
How the Space Rangers Captain talked about my thoughts where the show would go in the previous video, so go check it out if you want to know. But bottom line, Miss Marvel is an okay show. It's not the best Marvel show. I would rather watch Moon Knight or Falcon Winter Soldier. Those are better origin stories than this show. But I do like what this show's trying to do, and I do want to see this character and where they go with her. Just please, no more origin stuff. Give us what we actually want. And for those people who are complaining about her powers being different from the comics and whatnot, I cannot say anything there. I did not read the comics. I know almost nothing about the Miss Marvel from the comics, and I refuse to touch on that. But I will say, they got a good actress to play Miss Marvel. She really looks good in the suit, so you know what? You win some, you lose some. In the end, this show gets like a 6 out of 10.
I think that's fair. 6 out of 10 is something that still stands. The show very much, despite being a miniseries, does have a lot of parts in it that do feel boring. But there are also parts of it that make it really cool. I do love the representation of the of like her Pakistani culture and her background. Imani Vellani loves playing the character, and you know me, I love it when an actor loves their job and has passion for the role they play in. And I want to see more of Miss Marvel and Imani Vellani in future Marvel projects. In fact, Miss Marvel, and I guess to an extent Imani Vellani herself, they are part of the main reason I want to watch the Marvels. Before, when I heard of Captain Marvel 2 or the Marvels, I wasn't really too interested. Then when I heard that Miss Marvel was going to be in the movie, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. At least just for her. I know she's going to be the highlight of that movie even before it comes out. Even before you get the trailer, I know she's going to be the best part of it. And her, like, fangirling over Captain Marvel will definitely be something I think is also a highlight of the movie. So we'll wait until November to see how that pans out. Next is Camp Cretaceous Season 5. Work with me. Work with me. Why are you trying to pretend I have bad Wi-Fi? I have good Wi-Fi. Don't do this to me.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. So, the 5th and final season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous just came out on Netflix. Now, when I remember this season was announced, I actually remember that Jurassic World Dominion was also coming out in June. And I'm like, oh, how funny, we're getting 2 Jurassic World properties within a month of each other. And then when I watched this season, I found out why. It's because this movie was gonna it's because the season was gonna turn into Dominion. And I kinda knew it, I kinda like felt in the back of my head going into this thing, I'm like, they're gonna in a world with these dinosaurs. I think that would be a really cool idea. Three is my favorite, then season 5, then season 4, then 2, and then 1. 2 and 1 kind of alternate a bit, just because 2 is a bit more original in its story, but 1 does kind of tie into the movie. So really, it's like pick your poison, honestly. Would you want one that ties into a movie and be like, oh no, I know that thing? Or would you like one that's a bit more original but doesn't have that punch just yet? It's up to you. But yeah, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, good show. Give it a watch if you got Netflix. It's fun for the kids. They'll like the dinosaurs in here. And I think it'll be a pretty cool way to introduce them to the Jurassic World movies. And then they'll be like, I know that thing. But yeah, overall the series gets a 7 out of 10. Not amazing, but also not bad. It's far from the worst thing to come out this year. So give it a watch if you got the time. And I would advise, watch Dominion just before you watch this movie, because that's what I did. I watched Jurassic World Dominion like 2 days before I watched this show. Which is why I didn't do a review on Dominion. I was kind of too late to go to the cinemas. But I watched Dominion before I watched the show. And I watched the show like right after I watched Dominion, again like 2 days later. And seeing Dawson appear, I was actually kind of happy. I'm like, oh, wait, I know that guy! Or I guess Tim Cook.
Okay. Camp Cretaceous season 5, I think it still stands. It's like a nice 8 out of 10. I love this guy. He's a good villain. He boils my blood every time I see him. That's how effective a villain he is. So, I mean, we all knew he was going to be a villain, and I like how they didn't waste too much time showing, like, you know, revealing that he's a villain. Still waiting to like the mid-season to say, I'm a twist villain, haha, aha. Like, they did it very early on, so I like that. Up next is Ninjago season 16, not 15, 16. And the reason I say this is because the Ninjago community has gone insane. They're calling Crystallize season 15. There's a whole backstory behind this, but I know most of you guys are Ninjago fans, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. All I'm going to say is the island was 4 episodes. They were all aired at different times. It's a season, not a special. Seabound is 15 and 16 is Crystallized. So, without further ado, let's jump into my final thoughts on this thing.
Background characters. That's what I'm hoping for. I really do hope this is not season 17, because if it is, I'm gonna drop out of the show. The show for me has peaked here. This is where it should end, and it definitely deserves this ending. And what a strong way to end a strong show. I love the beats from former seasons. However, unlike season 11, it's not copying the formula from former seasons. It's using the formula to its advantage to end the show on a strong note. There's a lot of subverting this season is doing, where you think it's gonna do one predictable thing, but it does do that predictable thing in an unpredictable way, and I really can't fault it for that. So at the end of the day, I would give Ninjago Crystallized season 16 9 out of 10. I do think it's probably the closest we're gonna get to the perfect Ninjago season. As well as I know it's better than season 9 in my opinion, I will still decipher that, but you will find out the answer when I do my Ninjago seasons.
Okay, so I give Crystallize a 9 out of 10. A lot of people don't like Crystallize, I've seen. Now that the hype has died down,
Ranked from worst to best, which will
venomous to this season. I, however, still like it. Despite all its problems, I still very much like Crystallize. However, I do think I might lower the score down to an 8 out of 10. Because I have noticed some of the problems that are a bit glaring here. And a lot of the stuff that it does ends up repeating plot lines from other seasons, which is like not fun. You don't like to see a season running out of ideas and boring plot lines and formulas from other seasons. However, it's still a top 3 Ninjago season. It's still like on the number 3 spot, I would say. It's currently competing with Skybound. Hunted is still number 1, and this season and Skybound are like competing at number 2 for me. But yeah, I still like Crystallize. It's still really good. Way better than like all the Wild Brain stuff. It's way better than Master of the Mountain, which is still good. Way better than Seabound, which is, in my opinion, very overrated, but whatever. And it's way better than Season 11, the worst piece of Ninjago content out there. So Crystallize is still good, I'd say. It has its problems, but it's still good. But let's deal with you real quick. Retro Boy, thanks for commenting. You're ready for AOT, even though the ending sucks. I will tell him I am ready, but the ending doesn't suck. For those who haven't seen the AOT manga, I am not gonna spoil it here for you, but yeah, the manga is a huge issue when it comes. It's important for the whole story. / universe. Yeah, there's a huge discourse with the AOT ending. Not everyone likes it, not everyone's a big fan of it. Some people do like it and some will defend it. I'm on that train of I like it. It has some it's important. It's important to the overall show as a whole. But don't take my word for it. I'm not gonna talk about Attack on Titan here just yet. I know the final season has come out, or at least the first part of the last part. Final episodes have come out. I'm gonna watch it, and when everything is said and done, I will do a review. For those who don't know, I did a review of Attack on Titan, the first 4.5 seasons. I did everything up till season 4, part 1. And so afterwards, I'm now going to do everything. I'm going to review everything from season 4, part 2, till the end of part 3. And I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the show as a whole and why it's very important, why this show is honestly just so amazing. And of course, as you guys remember, a couple months back, I did do an Attack on Titan video talking about one of the best scenes from the show. So, go watch it if you want to. It's really not that far back. It's in my... it's in my video essays playlists. You know what the playlists are. So let's continue. Alright, next I ranked all the Ninjago seasons. Tales of the Jedi.
Beautiful end to the Ninjago show. 11 years of hard work have finally paid off, and I am glad to have been part of this show and its community. I am so happy, and I love Ninjago, and I love this final season, Ninjago season 16, Crystallize. Without further ado, that's going to be it from me. Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. It's been a while.
Star Wars.
It's a very short watch. You can finish it like in an hour. 10, 12 to 15 minutes per episode, and they're only like 16 episodes, so we're not releasing that much. Maybe an hour, hour and a half. If there is what things I want to see up from this show going forward, I do hope they do greenlight a season 2. That would be really cool to get more Tales of the Jedi. Or they make a season 2-ish, but it's kind of like a spin-off show where they call it Tales of the Sith. I would really love to see if they have any stories about their dark side 4 seasons. I would love to see them adapt the Son of Dathomir comic, where we get to see how Darth Maul escaped from Palpatine in between season 5 and 7 of the Clone Wars, because it was never adapted into the TV show. So if we get to see that comic actually adapted in the Clone Wars style, that would be really cool. I also really like to see a story on what happened to Ventress, because apparently she died in the book. I never read the book, but she apparently died. I don't know, it's annoying me that one of the Clone Wars main antagonists dies off screen in a book. So if they were able to adapt that death into the show, that would also be really great. And if they capture it, that would be really cool. Like it's all the directions they can go in, and the fact that they put it in, just they pull out all the stops. They pull out their A game for this show. Like they held nothing back, and again, I'm just so impressed, and I want to see more. Who knows? This could even build up to like a Star Wars What If, like how Marvel has a What If show talking about what if events from the movies were changed. I would be down to watch a Star Wars What If events from the movies were changed, and how it could affect the story later on. Because like let's face it, the only What If we have for Star Wars is fan fiction, and there's only so much you can do with fan fiction. But imagine actual canon What Ifs, oh that would be so cool. So yeah, Tales of the Jedi, great show. Go watch it. 10 out of 10 for Star Wars Tales.
Okay, I think I was a bit generous, but I think the score still stands. It's very much a good show, 10 out of 10. And considering it came out at a time when I thought Star Wars was losing its magic, because Tales of the Jedi came out when Andor was coming out, and as you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of Andor. So I thought Star Wars was losing its magic, but Tales of the Jedi showed it still got it in them, and I think I was just very happy to get something that was really a return to form back with this. Even The Mandalorian Season 3 is a return to form. I love Episode 1. There's so much. It's like chock full of that Star Wars charm in the first episode, something that I very much felt was missing from Andor, because Andor again just felt like it wasn't tied to Star Wars in the slightest. So yeah, Tales of the Jedi is really good. Again, go watch it, and I feel like this is a really good stepping stone for what should be more Star Wars in the future. I would be down or Tales of the Sith, as mentioned, where we get to look at Maul and Ventress' stories, give them proper fleshed out arcs. Son of Dathomir, I know about the comic, I really hope they adapt it. Or Ventress, they adapt her story from the book, actually give her a proper death. Because I think they said in that book, she fell in love with the Jedi Master, the one with the yellow streak across his face. He was mentioned in Kenobi, I forgot his name. Him and Ventress had apparently like a romantic thing going on, but Ventress dies in the book. Give her a proper conclusion, man. Like, she was one of the main bad guys in Clone Wars. Give her that. And yeah, and of course, branch out to do Star Wars What If. I know like Marvel What If is based on the comics, sort of. So like they could get to it fast if they wanted to, but like do Star Wars What If, man. Like we all want that. We all want Star Wars What If. Hell, even DC has Elseworlds. Like, how is it the comic people are getting on this hype train way before Star Wars is doing so? So yeah, I very much want a Star Wars What If. If they could give us that soon, I would be very happy. I would be a very happy boy with that, especially like in the Clone Wars animation style. I would be very happy with that. So yeah, Tales of the Jedi, my opinion hasn't changed on it. Work with me here, my brother from another mother. Don't fight me.
Do not fight me.
There we go.
The Jedi. Go watch it if you love anything Star Wars, and especially if you're a Clone Wars fan. I do hope to see more Star Wars stuff in this type of animation. Or
right, let's look at what's next on the list. We have the Attack on Titan video essay I made, the one I was telling you about, The Beauty of Erwin's Last Charge. Go watch it, one of the best scenes from the entire show. One spectacular episode. This one was me making a spectacular Spider-Man video. The best version of Spider-Man. Go watch the show if you haven't already. Of course, watch my video if you haven't already. I really put a lot of effort into these two. Again, they're some of the best things I've put out to this channel. I really like them. They're full of passion. Yeah, and I think we're done. Because this is really just me talking more about Andor and how you shouldn't feel bad for not liking it, despite what the fan base is telling you. They're like, please let us have this. No, I'm not letting you have this. You refuse to let me have my things. Go to hell. And this one is really just me ranking all the best shows from past years. So let's talk about Andor, shall we? Don't buffer like that. Be nice. Be good.
Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. I am using clips from Star Wars TV. He's a great guy. Go check him out. Link to his cool payoff. It just feels like it wasn't enough. Like we got less than we were promised, which also ties into the whole pacing issue, where some arcs didn't need to be as long as they were. They could have been two-part arcs and we would have been fine with it. But you know, those are just some of the problems I noticed throughout the show. But overall, in a vacuum, Andor is a pretty cool show about the rise of the rebellion, and I'm definitely interested to see where it goes next. As such, I think it's a cool 7 out of 10 show. I'd probably bump it up to an 8 if it were not tied to the star.
Yeah, and that's it's a very good 7 out of 10 show, which, if it were not tied to Star Wars, would be an 8 out of 10. I understand people's love for this show and them being opposed to the very idea that Andor isn't Star Wars. Like, people out there will say, oh, but Andor doesn't feel like Star Wars, and these lovers will be like, oh yes, that's the point, it shouldn't feel like Star Wars. And I'm like,
B2 fills that void in my heart.
That said, I've made an entire video talking about why Andor sucks the life out of Star Wars. It's here, a 30-minute video talking about that. The long and short of it is, it didn't have that charm that made me love Star Wars. Andor felt, more than anything, a story about rebellion in a sci-fi universe. And just because it had a premise like that, they're like, I might as well make it a Star Wars. I feel like it was Star Wars first, then Andor. It felt more like we want to make Andor first, and then we'll tie it to Star Wars. Like, it will be tied to Star Wars as a by the way. And as such, it very much loses that charm. I'm also very confused on the future of Andor. I heard somewhere that season 2 is going to be like the final season of the show. Like, Andor's only going to be like 2 seasons long, and then it's going to do its own thing, which kind of confusing to me, because Andor very much has shown itself to be a very much a slow burn show. So the fact that it can wrap up its story in only 2 seasons, ending with like the birth of the rebellion and Mon Mothma giving her speech leaving the Empire, doesn't seem plausible to me. The original plan, from what I heard, was that it was going to have 3 seasons, which makes more sense. We've seen more of the rebellion growing. Now the Empire takes the rest of the galaxy as a threat, and then season 3 will be Mon Mothma leaving the Empire to join the rebellion. From there on out, because 2 seasons alone don't make much sense to me. Hell, we haven't even gotten K2SO yet. Like, that's how early we are on in this series. Also, in case I just realized something. K2SO's name is K2SO, which, if we're speaking scientifically, his name literally just means potassium sulfate. What the frick? That's weird. I didn't even know that till just now. So yeah, Andor is fine. As a show on its own, it's good. 7 out of 10 show. As a nice sci-fi thriller show about, you know, standing up to oppression. The types of Star Wars brand, it is very off. It does not feel like Star Wars. So I do feel like when it comes to Andor, this is kind of like a one and done thing. Like, this type of feeling, like the type of vibe I get from this show should only be secluded to Andor only. The rest of Star Wars should carry on having that charm that makes us all coming back to it. Whereas Andor, since Andor is like its own entity, still in the Star Wars universe, just keep that charm, but don't try and infect the rest of Star Wars with it. I think that's the best way I can say it. Still good. There's a lot of things I like from Andor, and as you saw, I even made a theory on it. What if it crosses over with Rebels in the future? Given Disney's love-hate relationship with that show, it's hard to tell what they will do with it. But yeah, anyways guys, that's my video reviewing everything I said in the past year or so when it comes to movies and TV shows. Let's just raise a toast to this new year and hope I can, you know, review more things. I know I've been very absent lately from my channel. I have been very busy with life as a whole, and so I am very lucky when I get to upload something such as this, and I am grateful to all my fans who stick around for my nonsense, because let's be honest, I have no fans. I just talk into the void. But I'm glad to get my thoughts out there, my voice out there, and it's great to do this. So, of course, thank you guys so very much for watching. Be sure to hit a like if you like, subscribe if you haven't already, and future. I don't know if I'll be making them, because from what I've been told, I have very bad audio. So unless I get a proper mic, I don't know if I'll be doing live streams again. But YouTube has given the options to do a podcast. You know, you see this little icon up here which tells you to create things. On my YouTube community page, I am told I can do a podcast if I wanted to. So I I really like podcasts. I like the idea of podcasts, and I want to do more of that in the future. Hopefully, I'll have a friend on here who can talk shows with me, who can talk Star Wars on Ninjago with me, and we'll be able to have a fun podcast. And I know a lot of people don't like podcasts because it's mostly just, well, you know, what's that word? Very much like-minded people. That's it. Is that podcasts are very much like-minded people who just sit together and talk about things they agree on. So maybe I'll get someone on who has opposing views on a show or movie with me. Then again, that's if I can get someone to agree to do the podcast in the first place. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. I've been Captain Phoenix. This was my first attempt at a live stream. Let me know what you guys thought, and if you want to see more. I know the audio is really bad, but hey, you want to see me bashing myself, this is why I come to bash myself. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll be Captain Phoenix, and with that, I'll see you in the universe. Goodbye, my Rangers. Doing everything in like real time is weird. The fact that you don't get to edit it out. So yeah.